Hey everyone, and welcome back to this Python series. In this lesson, we're going to be generating QR codes using Python, and specifically, we'll be writing a program that generates QR codes. So before we jump into this tutorial, I'm going to first demonstrate how this program is going to work. So in my terminal window over here, I've gone ahead and made sure to list the program down, which is simply just this .py file over here. I'm gonna go and run this right now, and it will say, hello, what QR code do you want to generate today? And for this example, I'm gonna go and make a link that takes us to Google, and then it will say, what would you like to name the photo as? And we can add in any name. Let's simply do test QR code. And if you notice, once I pressed enter, it went ahead and generated this JPEG file over here. And I will run it right now, just so you can see that it did indeed work. And to see if it's working, I've gone ahead and loaded up the camera app on my phone. And you can see it's detecting the QR code as google.com. So now with that being said, let's go and get into the tutorial. First, we need to import the QR code module into our program. And to do that, just type in import QR code. And you first got to get that installed with pip. And if you're on Windows, you'll run this command on your command prompt. Or if you're on Mac or Linux, you're going to run that command in a terminal window. But you can test if you got that successfully installed by heading into the interactive shell, which is right over here, and just typing in import QR code. And if you notice that Python hasn't thrown you any errors or it hasn't said any other message, then you'll know that you've successfully got it set up in your system. And once you've got that down, we can proceed with writing the rest of the program. The next thing we need to do is type in from, and then all capital letters PIL, and PIL just simply stands for the Python imaging library. And then the next thing we'll type in is import in the same line. So from PIL import space image. And once you've got that down, we can proceed with setting up the rest of our program. So earlier in our demonstration, we made it ask what QR code we wanted it to generate. So then we're taking in user input for that. And then next it takes in another user input, this time the name of the image, and then it will save that into the directory where our program is located in, like I mentioned earlier. So now let's go and just type in print. So we'll call the print function for this and say, hello, what QR code would you like to make today? And then let's save that, the user input, in a variable called myResponse. So we're going to call the input built-in function for this. And then next it will ask us what we want to name the image. So do print again, what would you like to call the image? So we'll take the image name, and then we can store that in another variable called myResponse2, just to keep things simple, and then go ahead and call the input function for both variables. Now we can create another variable called image save, and then here we can type in qrcode.make, and then it will take in between these two parentheses over here, it will take in the result of whatever we typed in for the first variable. So in this one we're going to type in my response, because it will do, like I mentioned here, it will take in whatever we want to generate for our QR code. So this line of code over here is what will do that for us. It will generate the QR code. So whatever we type in here for my response, it will record that response and generate the QR code for us with this qrcode.make over here. And then the next thing we want to do is do image save, so whatever we called this variable over here, image save.save, and then that is when we will take in the user input for our second variable, because that was the name of the image. So my response to, and then plus we will concatenate that string with the .jpeg file extension. So now we can run this program, and it will say, hello, what QR code would you like to make today? So we did Google earlier, so let's this time do YouTube. And then it will say, what would you like to call the image? And before we generate this image, I will bring up the folder now where I saved our program in, and let's call this image as YouTube QR. Just something simple like that. And you can see that it generates a JPEG file of that image. And we can access YouTube with this. Let me demonstrate right now. So I'm back on my phone camera, and you can see that it detects it as YouTube, and if I tap on it, it takes me to the YouTube app on mobile. So that's another example that our program is working as intended. And we can run this again. So let's create some, just to be fun, let's think of something else. I can make this a sentence as well. So let's call this I am Raphael, and then we can save the image as greetings. And that will save the image as greetings.jpg. So if I open that image, it will show this. And that's an example of a QR code generator working as intended. So that's how we do it. It's simply only a couple lines of code along with some user input and other functions that we have learned in previous lessons. And we've gone ahead and made this nice and neat program that can be helpful in your everyday life as well. If you're, let's say you are printing out, let's say you're working somewhere and you need to make QR codes, well, you can make your own program that does this exact task, and with only a couple lines of code. So that's it for this lesson, and stay tuned. I will see you in the next one.